everybody, my name is Kyle, and today I'm going to talk to you about what the Rougarou is. The Rougarou is a shape-shifting cryptozoological creature, a Cajun folklore legend that prowls the Louisiana swamps for human blood. The cryptid is depicted as being a 7 to 8 feet tall creature that has the body of a man but the head of either a wolf or dog, with glowing red eyes. Essentially, this is a swamp werewolf, but with some subtle differences. The Rougarou has the ability to shapeshift into a werewolf-like form, but is slightly more muscular and stronger due to the fact it crosses dense swamps. Similarly to werewolves, the Rougarou has enhanced senses, speed, stamina, and invulnerability, which makes it a force not to be messed with. Allegedly, if you are bitten or stare into the red eyes of a Rougarou, then you will ultimately become one in the same lycanthropic manner. The Rougarou goes as far back as the 18th century and has been a part of Cajun folklore for centuries. It is said to have originated in French-Canadian folklore, which was brought to Louisiana by migrated French settlers. I suppose it's no coincidence, as the name Rougarou is derived from the French word loup-garou, which means werewolf. According to legend, the Rougarou is a human who has been cursed due to breaking a Lenten vow. It is said that the person will transform into the creature for 101 days, and only by then will the curse be lifted. After that time, the curse will be transferred from person to person in search of human blood. During the day, the creature returns to human form. Acting sick, the human would withdraw from telling others of the situation for fear of being killed. One of the earliest documented sightings of the Rougarou takes place in 1996, where Barbara Mullins was driving down Louisiana Highway 12 and spots a dead creature on the side of the road. She described the carcass as being the size of a St. Bernard dog and covered in thick brown hair. It seemed to be unusual for the climate and had uncanine-like features, such as ape feet extending from the bulky body. Initially, the Louisiana Department of Wildfire and Fisheries had examined the photographs and concluded it was a toy breed of dog known as the Pomeranian. However, this didn't make sense, as the St. Bernard is much heavier and taller, and this conclusion didn't make sense either, especially with the ape feet too. In 2000, a man named Roy Young investigated the images as well as doing intense research and concluded that the images taken by Barbara Mullins were of none other than the Rougarou, the Cajun werewolf. A more recent sighting of the Rougarou was back in 2016, seen allegedly in Houma, Louisiana. A video was posted online to show what appeared to be a large dark figure with glowing eyes walking through a residential neighbourhood. I have not been able to find the actual footage taken in 2016 in Houma, Louisiana of the alleged Rougarou. I would have to say that it's possible that it was debunked and therefore the video has been deleted. However, if you have the footage or know where to find it, please link it in the comments down below. Sightings of the Rougarou have been reported throughout Louisiana for centuries. Some sightings have been dismissed as hoaxes or misidentifications of various animals, but some are taken seriously by locals who believe in the legend of the Rougarou. Now it's story time, and today I've been able to find 2 short stories that I'll read out today. The first story comes from a deleted Redditor's account. If you ever come across this video, please do leave a comment. So without further ado, hit the lights, get comfy, and don't get scared. My encounter with a Rougarou, aka Louisiana werewolf. So this happened to me a few years ago. I was visiting a friend's house in the Houston River area. That section of the river is pretty swampy, so we were frog hunting at night. It was a full moon, so it made spotting the bullfrogs easier. Anyway, we're wandering down by the riverbank when we heard a sound. All went quiet, not even the crickets chirped. We heard dozens of frogs dive into the water. We knew then that something was very wrong. Then came a distant growl, like something evil from the other side of the river. We killed our Q-beams, spotlight, and watched in the direction of the sound. What I saw chilled me to the bone. It was like a massive wolf with patchy black fur, yet no visible skin on its head, only a skull with empty eyes. It appeared to be locked onto other prey, so we shut our lights off and watched for a moment. Looking back, it was really stupid to not flee right then. It ran back into the woods and started running down the river. We decided to dip out and get as far away as possible. The next story comes from Reddit user Madame Corleone 420 and is their encounter, but they also share another encounter from their stepdad. So once again, turn the lights out and don't get spooked. The Rougarou knocked back. My story. It gets very hot down here during the summer, so to cool off, many of the residents in my town like to enjoy a boat ride down the river for swimming, fishing, tubing at various sandbars. My favourite sandbar was about a 7 to 10 minute boat ride and maybe 30 feet of sand between the river and the woods/swamp. My sister, my mum, my stepdad and myself loaded up in my boat and cruised to the sandbar for a late afternoon catfishing trip. It's usually slap full of boats and people, but it was just us. As the sun is going down, my stepdad is telling his Bayou stories and claims he can summon the Rougarou. Out of curiosity, my sister and I give him the go-ahead. We were both in our 20s. He takes a piece of driftwood in each hand and knocks them together twice, making loud echoing noises. A few seconds go by, and maybe 100 feet into the woods, something knocked back. We noped out of there real quick. I don't think I've ever loaded the boat so quickly before. Never tried to knock for the Rougarou again, ever. Stepdad's story. Maybe 10 years ago, he was night fishing and set out some jug lines with one of his buddies. While they waited in the dark for the fish to start nibbling on their bait, they start telling their Bayou stories. The particular Bayou they stopped to wait in wasn't wide at all, maybe 25 feet with woods and swamps on either side. So stepdad tells his buddy that if he hollers for the Rougarou will holler back. My stepdad then lets out a roar. As soon as he finished his call, maybe 10 feet into the woods, the loudest roar came right back at him. He and his buddy left that Bayou so quick. They went back to the camp and didn't retrieve their jug lines until the following morning. Because of the proximity of the call, the loudness and the sheer spook factor, my stepdad still refuses to go down that particular Bayou. And that was my take on the Rougarou, an infamous Louisiana cryptid that scares the locals from venturing into the swampy regions, a creature with immense strength and power that even just by looking at one could cause you to become cursed and transform into one, a cryptid not to be messed or encountered with. Is the Rougarou real or fake? Well, from my own findings of the cryptid, and certainly its history, there could be some evidence to suggest it does indeed exist. Certainly from finding several lengthy stories on the being, the existence of the Rougarou does have some credibility, with a lot of the encounters being similar in description, and definitely leaving those who witnessed it to be in complete shock and fear. On the other hand, there is an argument to suggest that it's simply a folktale to scare people with, especially children. The legend of the Rougarou has been passed down throughout the centuries and certainly has been used to scare children from misbehaving and venturing out into the swamps alone. If you misbehave, the Rougarou will come and get you. The cryptid certainly has a rich history and various stories and tales shared amongst the locals of Louisiana to suggest it does exist. But of course, I leave it to you, the viewers, to decide. So comment down below if you have any information on the Rougarou that I haven't mentioned. Do you or someone you know have a true encounter to share? And what do you think? Do you believe the Rougarou is real or fake? Like and subscribe and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!